So welcome to everyone who's joined us today on the webinar. We're going to be talking about digital asset management and giving you some top tips on how to be more effective in managing your digital asset management. I'm Justine Gonshaw, Head of Marketing for Mag Labs, and I'm going to give you a very brief overview of digital asset management. I'm going to hand over to the amazing Donna Dyer afterwards when I've finished. Donna is one of our senior account managers. She mainly focuses on the media and entertainment area, but has been with us long enough to know enough about our products and services and to answer some questions should you have any. We're then delighted to have Jessica Husband, or Jess, Digital Marketing Manager at Vika, one of our clients. She's going to talk about digital asset management and what it means to Vika and for Vika, and maybe a little bit about why they introduced a digital asset management solution. So let's get straight into it. So digital asset management, what is it? In my view, good digital asset management helps to give you greater control of your brand assets, of all the imagery that you will put out there, and that could be videos, logos, etc., etc. It's also the way that you hopefully plan to store and manage your digital assets. And ideally, this will be providing some central control or maybe departmental control. So you understand who's looking at what and when, and you're able to share things effectively. A good digital asset management system increases efficiency, speed to market of campaigns, and will reduce your marketing costs. You'll be able to find and control images, videos, logos, or any other brand imagery or messaging. So why is it so important? I think the main reason is that your company is essentially your brand. So these are critical assets that are hugely significant to your company and can have a real impact on your company's reputation. Getting it wrong can not only confuse and dilute the message you're trying to send to the market, but it can have a worse impact. It can actually turn people off. It can destroy any brand loyalty that's been built up over a long period of time. It's actually been proven that consistent use of the same imagery that's adapted for different channels can really build customer loyalty. And it takes a while to build that loyalty. So the worst thing you can do is then knock it down with a few simple errors. And having a digital asset management solution in place or a strategy can help you avoid those disastrous errors. My top tip of all is that if you're going to invest in a solution of any sort, you need to have a plan or a strategy in place first. You know, what is it you want to achieve with that solution? What is it that you need as what is it that you're looking for as a business? Once you have that, you can think about who you might want to help you implement that solution and how to do that effectively. So let's go straight to some tips for managing digital asset management more effectively. And there won't be too many of these, I promise. And then we'll move on to Donna, who will talk about some case studies. So in my view, as I said, you need a plan or a strategy. Ideally, you'll then invest in a tool so that you have the central repository I keep talking about. And at the very least, you're going to keep your imagery on a central drive and protect your brand assets with a password so that not everyone has access to them. You don't want them corrupted, you don't want them disappearing, and you don't want people using them in inappropriate ways and on inappropriate channels. Only keep the latest version of a brand asset. Obviously, if you have the right tool, it's going to do that for you. Because if you're sharing multiple versions, you know, it's bound to happen. Someone's going to work on a file or a campaign, and they're going to use the wrong version of the logo. And what's going to happen? You're going to have to redo that entire campaign, waste of time, waste of energy, and it's going to cost your business dearly, especially if you can't get your campaign out to market on time. You might even find that your competitors get an advantage because they're able to get stuff out and you can't. Seems really obvious, but always label your files correctly and clearly. If I call the latest version of the MagLabs logo Justin 123, who on earth is going to know what I'm talking about? They're going to look for MagLabs, aren't they? A version of MagLabs. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm not the only one using that logo, and I'm sure across your many businesses, you're not the only one using your logos or looking for imagery or videos or whatever it is. Create albums so that all the relevant assets are stored and kept together. Again, just makes sense, keeps things easier to find. And after all, this is a tool that is intended to make life easier. Take time setting up your folders and metadata structure. Again, makes it easier. You're thinking about how you put things together, what makes sense for people when they're looking for things. And you need to set up a structure, a clear structure of who needs to see which digital assets and when. And this again is a security mechanism. You know, if you're working with multiple external agencies, then you don't necessarily need to share everything with everyone. Opens up the avenue for someone picking up the wrong asset, using the wrong thing, or seeing things they simply don't need to. Keep your security as tight as possible. And then where possible, and I know that not every business is big enough to have a librarian type role, but it is a useful role. It helps to keep assets up to date. So even if that role is built into a part-time role or becomes part of someone else's, built into someone's existing role, it is a very useful function to have. And it does help to keep things up to date. And then have a clear approval process for anyone who is using your brand assets so that they can't just put things out to market without you seeing them. Finally, it's really important to keep your brand guidelines up to date and to ensure that anyone who is likely to use them, that's internally, externally, agencies, for example, so that anyone who's going to use these assets knows how they should apply them. So they're going to use them in the right way. Again, it's a fail-safe, stops mistakes creeping in. And I think the other thing is, or before you think about a solution, think about why you need it. And that will help you to ensure it's fit for purpose. If you think about MagLabs, for example, I'm obviously speaking on behalf of MagLabs today, but you know, we're an agency or a business who've worked with marketers for years. So we really understand marketers and marketing operations and the sort of tools that those people will need. I'm a marketer myself. Different businesses, you know, have different requirements. And unless you have a marketing background and understanding of marketing, you may not understand the full requirements. And so the solution may not be fit for purpose. Also think about, you know, scaling. If you're going to grow your business, is the solution you're investing in going to be fit for purpose in a year's time? Are you going to need to spend, you know, dump that and get a new one? You know, some tools are scalable, some tools aren't. Some tools can be integrated into portals, some tools can't. Think about what it is before you invest, and then think about your different requirements. You know, for example, media companies, you know, may need to upload, download, store, and share huge files. And not all solutions will be cost effective for that. Whereas an FMCG company might need to share up-to-date imagery, brochures, and marketing. So quite different requirements that that might lead you to a different solution, or maybe there's solutions that are fit for all purposes. But think about all this in the setup. What is it you need? Talk to the company you're thinking about working with. Are they flexible? Do they understand your needs? And are they going to work with you to ensure that it's a smooth transition from what you have now to what you might look at implementing? I think the other thing is, when you're working with a group of people, they need to fully want to understand and support your process, your move from what you've got now to what you need in the future. And you don't just want to take what you've got on paper or on your current drive and think about using that as your solution. You might need something a bit different. So you need people who are going to stimulate your thinking, help raise ideas, things you might not have thought of. Okay, so I've waffled on plenty, so I'm going to finish off very shortly. I think it's also really important to know the pandemic's made us think about sort of moving online, about digital transformation, about being ready to do everything digitally. And without a digital asset management solution, you're really going to be stuck. It's not going to be easy. You're going to find there are lots of bumpy paths in the road. I'm not saying it can't be done, it will just increase the risks, the problems you might have. Right, finally, just a brief overview of some of our products. We have a Stratum, a proprietary Stratum platform, and most of our solutions are built and tested on that solution. You'll hear a bit more about Sargasso with Donna in a minute. That's our off-the-shelf digital asset management solution. It is scalable. And then we have a range of other solutions, creative workflow tools, event management, and also bespoke portals and bespoke solutions that are for a whole range of companies. So we will take questions and be happy to chat to you afterwards. But in the meantime, I'm going to pass you over to Donna.
Thank you very much. So I'll just share my screen. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about our off-the-shelf product, Sargasso. So as Justine just touched on, we have a few different solutions within MagLabs which are adaptable to the particular business needs. But for people just getting started with DAM, Sargasso is usually a really good starting point. It's configurable, so once you've used the system for a little while, if you need more from it as a business, then it's adaptable. It's built on Stratum, which is where we house all of our tools. So if you need to add onto it, we develop it and plug it into your Sargasso. So it's scalable, it's cost effective. We use AWS storage, and we do asset lifecycle management, which allows you to move your assets from one bucket to another. So lower access, lower cost of assets. So Sargasso uses metadata tags to help organise your assets efficiently. So we work with you to get all those set up, and I've got some case studies to show you those in a second. It's all GDPR compliant with flexible access and version control, which leans towards brand protection, as Justine's just talked about. And as I've just mentioned, asset lifecycling. So we can work with you to manage your assets accordingly, depending on how much access you need for them. So the first case study I've got is with LG, where we work with their marketing team to house and help them distribute their marketing assets, everything from their TVs to their fridges. It's a multi-use platform, so their agencies are on it, their partners and their retailers. With Sargasso, it's not only a digital asset repository, you are able to set up unique permissions for your user types, allowing them to access certain labels, as you can see here. So these are all the different tags in the system. So you can set up individual users with individual tags. You can share externally. You can generate links to put into like a global email you may be sending for people to access those assets. You know, it's all very much in your control. With LG, they actually have a lot of these metadata tags. They've got around 700 in there. So they really do focus on how they categorize those assets. And for us to get to that point, we sat down with LG over the course of a couple of weeks, got together everything they would label and tag an asset as, and build that into the system for you. So with Sargasso, you get an off-the-shelf product customized to your brand. So when you log into the LG system, you wouldn't know it was brought to you by MagLabs. It is their URL, it is their imagery, it is their logo. All the tags within Sargasso are exclusive to LG. It's what fits their brand. It makes it easy for them to search and organize. Whenever we set up anybody with a Sargasso, there is full training, you know, whether that be on site or currently, we'd obviously be doing that online. And yeah, we get everybody's users set up and good to go as part of the getting ready with Sargasso. We've also got Sargasso instance for universal pitches. So we have a couple of different things we do for them at the moment, which they've got some bespoke systems that sit on Stratum, but they've also got an instance of MBC of Sargasso called MBC Share. It replaced an FTP that they were using. So they would get all their territories to upload localized assets to an FTP. They'd have to then pull those off, check everything was okay with them before putting them elsewhere. Sargasso's removed quite a lot of that work. Their territories upload their specific territory tags. They can then see what's been uploaded by them and then send them over to the correct site, gives them some autonomy. They have a central source of truth where all their assets are. So if somebody can't find something, it's most likely going to be in their Sargasso instance. We also have another company we work with, which is the CocaCola Freestyle portal. So this is for your Coke Freestyle machines. And we worked with a creative agency for this solution. And again, this is for distributing marketing assets quickly and securely. Again, it works with those for the metadata structure. As you can see, they've got their own tags here as well. They've exclusively put in for CocaCola Freestyle. And what we also did is we enhanced Sargasso for them and then deployed this to our other clients as well. We put in the ability to create their own thumbnail previews. As most of you know, when you upload a zip file, what you'll see is a zip picture. There is the option in Sargasso to change that thumbnail so you can put a picture of what's actually in your zip. So it helps you see at a glance what's available when you download that file. And finally, Costa Coffee. So Costa Coffee are an existing client of ours. They've used some of our previous tech systems and we're in the process of moving them over to Sargasso. So Sargasso is not only just for people new to DAM, it also works for existing clients as well. So this is their current system and this is what they're moving towards. So it'll be, again, all their marketing assets, central repository for them. We can take all the data they're currently using in that system and put it into their Sargasso instance. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Over to you, Jess.
So I hope everyone can see that. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit today about how we use Sargasso and how we see its benefits. So just to give you a little bit of background about who we are. So this is a picture of our factory. We are located in Burnley, as I'm sure you can tell by my accent. So we've been around since 1986 and we extrude over 30 million meters of plastic a year. And when I say plastic, I mean the window frame that's in your window, that glamorous side. So how does it work in relation to you? So I've done this supplier down, but actually I'm going to describe it homeowner up. So everyone, if you own a home, then you will have a window and you'll purchase that window or door or conservatory from an installer. And they're the people that drive around in the vans and they've got showrooms, so we all know who they are. They don't make the windows. They receive a ready-made window from a fabricator. So you as a homeowner would request a certain window type that's sold to you by an installer. They then place that order with a fabricator who makes the window for them. And then we, VCAR, are the supplier of that plastic of the frame. So we extrude them in 6 meter lengths and then that goes down the chain and turns it into a window. So the only thing that we don't make is glass. That comes from a separate supplier. So it's just to gauge who we are. So if you think how many homeowners there are, how many installers there are, how many fabricators there are, it's a lot of sticks of plastic that we make on a yearly basis. Not all windows are the same, and I'm sure you're all very interested to know that. You can go to our website and look at what the difference between windows are. So we have different products. So we've got a Vika, Halo and Imagine, and we've got different services. Our services platform is our ability to interact with the homeowner. So we have installer programs that allow us to directly sell Vika profile to the UK. And then we have Vika Recycling. So we really do try and be strong on our CSR, corporate responsibility, because we're aware that we create plastic and that's not a good thing. But unfortunately, well, fortunately for us, ours isn't bad plastic because we can recycle ours infinitely. So it might not necessarily be recycled into a window, but it could be recycled into trunking or cladding or something else within the home. So we are very conscious of that. So bringing that back to how we use Sargasso. So I don't know if anyone watched it. There was a TV program a few years ago called White Gold that was about window installers. And that is genuinely how we used to do business. It used to be the back of bag packet quotes. It used to be someone coming into your home with high pressure sales environment saying that if you don't take this offer now, it'll be off the table forever and you'll never get a window. No images, no visual representation, just maybe a sample of some profile, which would mean nothing to the consumer. So that's how we used to do it. And then what we started to understand is actually in marketing, that's not how people like to be sold to. That's not how people visualize things. So I've just put a couple of stats in to just illustrate that point. So 10% of a person's only like to remember 10% of a story after hearing it in words. But if the story is accompanied by images, they remember 65% of it. 60% of the population are visual learners. 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual, and our brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. We all know that. We don't need to kind of say it, but it's just how that relates to us. So a study carried out found that online content with images got 94% more views, and more than 95 million photos are shared on Instagram daily. We're a very visual human race, and I think the lockdown has meant that we are more visual online as well, and those people that weren't online before have had to come online now. So we've had to adapt the way we work massively. So like I said, showrooms and high pressure sales environment of people going into homes still and will continue to exist, but in the meantime we cannot do that. So thankfully, we'd already created a really good range of assets to allow consumers to view our products. So we've got several different websites that our consumers can go to, and several different applications that allow consumers to view our product. And when I say product, I mean an end window, where we're not going to show you sticks of plastic because that would mean nothing to anyone. So how that relates to Sargasso is we have a portal. So actually MagLab built our bespoke portal for us, and in line with that we also had Sargasso. So we developed a portal that was completely unique to our customers. So this isn't consumer facing. So within the portal, which is the image on the left, our customers have access to all our services we offer. That's hints and tips. That's our shop that they buy our sticks of profile from. That's the image library. It's leads. It's also single sign-on solutions, single sign-on options to other solutions we offer. But Sargasso is the one obviously that we're here to talk about today. So as Donna just said, the meta tagging is a massive part of what we do. So I don't think we've got as many as LG, but we do have quite a lot, and they're all in relation to the product name, the colour, the type of product it is, and we also share all our social media assets on there. So our customers use this. They don't have their own images. They rely on us to get images to them. So the tagging works really well. And the same, we've got the permissions levels that Donna mentioned as well. So certain levels of customers, will only get certain access to images. The more you buy, the more you get, essentially. And then just to kind of pull it back to our internal customers, we work hard on our social media channels to make them appealing to people, knowing that we sell windows, and there's only so many images of that you can do. So having that area Sargasso for us to have all our images in, when we're looking at the different marketing teams that we've got, they can pull it all from there, and it is our single source of truth. It allows us to be consistent with our brand, consistent with our tone, and our messaging that we use. So it really is a godsend for us. From a consumer's perspective as well, as I said about COVID and people not being able to go to showrooms, we've had to adapt the way that we sell to you. So we have a designer option tool on our website that allows customers to go and pick what product they're interested in, windows or doors, and then they can add the images we have onto pictures of their house to allow them to then get a quote. So it's a rough estimate, and you'd need someone to measure it up, but it's that visual element that the people that are craving and desperately need. And again, all pulled from Sargasso and our image library. To pull it kind of back to how it works for us is I'm digital marketing, so everything I do is data driven. So I can see instantly. Cam and the team at MagLabs are fantastic, and they provide us reports on a monthly basis that I then use in my board reports. So just to put it into perspective, if someone downloads an image from Sargasso, and then that's been downloaded 1,000 times a month, we can see that obviously that's very popular. So I can relate that back to my sales team and say, right, in terms of our volume of sales of that particular profile, has that increased this year or this few months that it's done? If it hasn't, we can kind of do more research into understanding what they've been using that for. Had there been a certain trend, or are they using it in other ways? Or if it has, I can tie that back to the image that's been downloaded. We can also see that start to see trends in the market in terms of colourways. So with anthracite grey, which is our most popular colour of window, if we start to see that tail off in the images downloaded for that colour, and chartwell green increases, we can see the way the market's going. So we can say, pull that back to other external research that we have and external insight to pull it all together to say, right, we think the next colour trend is going to be this because our customers are going in this direction. So though Sargasso is an excellent dam and it's brilliant to have, the reporting that it gives is another level, which I think is something that's really interesting and really key to our business, because it's the return on investment of us paying for it. Sargasso isn't free. Hosting isn't free, photography isn't free, it all costs. So to tie that back to this many images have been downloaded, which in turn allowed us to make this many sales of profile, it ties it back in and it pays for itself. So yes, that's hopefully makes sense, and that's me done.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks very much, Jess. Right, are there any questions? Just before we take questions, just to, as Jess referred to, we do, once we've completed or implemented a solution, we don't just disappear. We can, if that's what the client wants, but generally we don't. People do to look to our training and support team. They work with our account managers, and they're looking for that data, and we are there to provide the training and the support and the data. Right, we've got a question. How long does it take to implement a dam solution? I guess it's how long's a piece of string, wouldn't you say, Donna?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if it's a very starter instance of Sargasso, you don't have too many assets coming over, and there's not, you know, a huge amount of metadata coming over, that can happen in like 2 weeks. If you have a very large requirement, if we're doing customizations, then it is very much a piece of string, but we'll always work with you to find out what it is you fully need. And then off the back of that, we can give you a time estimate of, you know, how long it will be to deliver. We won't just disappear and then pop up in 6 months with a product. So.
We had about 10,000 images that were already in our V drive. So we kind of worked with the team at Mag Labs to defined the meta tagging strategy, which was brilliant, and that had a massive impact. And then we then used our filing system to allow us to easily upload them to Sargasso. So did a lot of work in the background before we got there, and then tagged them up, and there was a team that was working on that. So I think it took us maybe 3 months, but 10,000 images that all look very similar is how I want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes clients such as yourself, you'll go and in the background you'll do the uploading. We also will upload for people. Yeah. So if there's a very clear set of tags and we can map the images, yeah. It's something either we can do manually or automatically, but it's very client driven. Some clients are very keen to upload themselves, and others are like, here's my stuff.
Yeah, so. I think it was with ours, there's not that much point of difference between our images. So to the naked eye, someone wouldn't know that was a Vika versus a Halo, which is a outcry on Twitter if someone posts the wrong image to the wrong brand. So
yeah, it could be damaging, can't it? Yeah. As we were saying. Another question: Do people who are non-technical need a lot of training to use a digital asset management solution?
From my side, and this is a bit of a random thing to put out there, but so Sargasso, for example, I think it's nice and simple. And I got my mum to use it, who's an older lady, and she managed to click her way through it, because we try and make things nice and obvious. I don't think you need to be technical at all, particularly if we're setting it up for you. We can get everything put in ready. You know, not everybody is going to be upload savvy or tag savvy, etc. You know, we have some clients that manage their own tags. We have other clients where we always manage it for them. It very much Depends. I don't think you need to be particularly tech savvy, and if you're not, that's what we're here for. We have, you know, help desk and account management to train and guide, and we'll sit on a call every upload you do if that's what it takes for somebody to get used to a system.
Just to put context, we've only just turned off fax last year as a business. That's how kind of back in the day our industry is, and our installers and all our customers can use Sargasso. We've never had any issues with them downloading images or searching, and they are vocal in telling us what they can't do. So yeah, I'd say it's a fantastic system. Yeah.
How many people would you say use Sargasso or have access to it?
To ours, so we have over 5,000 users on our portal, so that's the level of access that we've got, and then obviously our internal area. So yeah, we get over 1,000 downloads a month on our images, which is great, especially in lockdown now when no one's been able to print brochures and things. So yeah, it's used often.
Okay, lovely, thank you. And how much does a dam cost? Again, how much is a piece of string? Do you want to answer this, Donna, or I can?
I mean, yeah, so it's just very dependent on what your needs are. I mean, Sargasso has pricing points for getting started, and we work very much with you on those price points, you know, depending what you need, how much storage you need, how much data you're bringing onto it, and your setup costs, etc. But then, you know, they can start off pretty minimal, but when you do start getting very bespoke, having, you know, a number of add-ons, those costs do you know, vary quite a lot, but we work with clients to suit their budget, and yeah, but it's very, how long is a piece of string and what do you need, yeah.
You'd look at it in a way that before we got Sargasso, we had a V drive that one of our team members spent literally, her full-time job was taking image requests from customers, putting them into a folder, separating them all out, and then putting them on Dropbox link and then sending them across. And she did that for every single request, and it wasn't efficient. So you think of the cost of a monthly cost or setup of Sargasso, but think of the cost saving you're making from someone's role being that. If you're doing that a lot, you can't, the cost comparison is, you know, it's great. So
we had a similar situation with an event management tool. So we took over from a Excel spreadsheet that they were using, and we've saved them nearly a year's worth of work by bringing it in, because it was somebody's job on top of their job, trying to set up all these things, sending like one Excel sheet having to be collated, and they said like the time you've saved us more than makes up for money spent. So it's I'd how valuable is your time?
Yeah, definitely the same for us.
Yeah, we have done a small piece of work on return on investment for, I think it's for Sargasso, digital asset management generally. If anyone was interested in seeing that, you'll be welcome to. Right, any other questions? You guys might be off the hook. Last chance, otherwise we'll be ending the webinar. You can of course get in touch with us. The recording of this webinar will be available on LinkedIn tomorrow and on our website, and of course I'll share it with you, Jess, so that you've got a copy for posterity. I think that's it. I don't think we've got any other questions. So thanks guys, thanks so much Donna for stepping in, and Jess to for your presentation. Brilliant.
Thanks.
Great, well done guys. Thanks very much.
Bye.